Test. Hi, how are you, sir? There's Rob. Hey, Rob.
How you doing, Zach?
Good, good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Staying busy as usual. How about you?
Indeed. Oh, just looking forward to learning more of what this entails. So
Good, good,
can't wait to see this unfold.
good. Okay, we've got Mr. Pierce. Hi, sir. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. Are you with the neighborhood association or?
I'm with I'm a new beat officer in Pine Hills. So
Great. Okay.
yes, I used to be in the beat in Arbor Hill for maybe like 6 or 7 years, and then I moved on to a different spot in the department, and now I'm back. So I wanted to be a part of the meeting, so figure out
Sure.
what's going on since I've been gone.
Oh, great. Well, great. Well, welcome to the meeting. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we have Officer Webster usually joins us to give us our citywide update for the APD, which is good.
Yeah, he's good. He's great about those things.
Yeah, good.
Well, it's nice you're Mr. Simpson.
Yes, hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are these meetings going to be back at the library anytime soon, or is it mostly do Zoom now?
So we were at we had been virtual since COVID started. And then last September we ended up doing hybrid meetings down at the library.
Okay.
Through December, and then we ended up going back to virtual for a little while because there was the little surge in COVID variants going around. So we're probably going to be virtual through June, possibly back to hybrid in September.
Okay, I figured I'd just ask.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people got used to doing things via Zoom over the last couple of years. Sometimes it's a little bit more convenient for people and stuff that have families and stuff. So it allows them to still make their meetings, but also attend things outside of work or whatever they have going on. So okay.
Yeah. So at least we break for July and August.
Yep.
And then September we're back. So
Okay. Well, it was very nice meeting you.
nice meeting you too. And is that Esther?
Yes,
Sorry?
it's Esther.
Hi, Esther. It says Emily.
I know. I think my daughter must have set up this profile for me. Kind of makes sense given my lack of technical skills. So now I can't figure out how to change the name, and I keep every time I'm like, oh, I got to try to figure out how to change the name there, and then I forget.
That's okay. We know who you are. How's things over in New Albany?
Good. Pretty good.
Nice. Oh, we got Pat Max. Hi, Pat. Hey, Pat. How are you?
Okay. Harriet, how are you?
Oh, just hanging out. Nothing going on.
That's good. Everybody healthy?
I had a health physical today.
Thumbs up?
Uh,
Man, but I'm listening to you and you're not as sick as a lot of the people I know are right now.
no, as far as like illness, no, I'm good.
Yay. Just some homework assignments?
Yep, got to go back in 3 months for new blood work.
That's what keeps the doctors in business. They keep sending us back for more experimentation.
I figured as much. It's all good. Just got to be careful.
Yes.
John O'Grady. Hey, John.
Oh, you got Helen. She's
Oh, hey,
trying-
Helen. How's it going?
Okay. Trying to figure out how to.
Hi,
Okay.
Helen. I'm gonna sign off to slurp some noodles, so I'll just be listening.
Okay. Helen, when's your next set of walks over at the Tivoli?
I'm doing one Saturday at 10. Yeah, I do them pretty much every Wednesday and every Saturday at 10.
So this Saturday is not good, but the following Saturday you're doing them?
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. I'll go
We do ask that you register just so that I know to expect
Yep,
people. Yeah.
you bet.
Mhm.
Oh, there. Hey, there's Luke. Hey, Luke, how are you?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Good, Luke. How are you today?
Figure out how to-
I am doing well, thank you, Zach.
Here's John.
Hi.
This is Pat Max, and I have the pleasure of being at community service registration today. It was a real pleasure to see so many community folks there. It was great.
That's great, Pat. And what organization were you representing?
I was with the League of Women Voters.
Oh, wonderful. Yep, I saw that.
Yep, we had some great discussions with students. It was great fun.
Good. Was that your first time at the fair?
Yes.
So, word of advice: our spring fair is always just a little bit lighter attended than our fall fair. If you really want to see, we have typically anywhere from, I would say, probably 70 to 90 organizations represented at the fall fair. And this year, I think we had between 30 and 40. So, definitely come back in the fall.
This was this was good for us because since it was our first time, we could see which tables we're going to be next to the child care center we were next to because they had eye-catching stuff.
There you go. There
It
you
was
go.
all good. It
Next
was
to the tables with good swag, right?
yes, it was pleasure to be a Great Dane back on campus.
Very good.
Hey, Luke, how's the E-Tech building doing? Is it fully occupied?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Fully occupied, very well utilized. I'm not going to lie. We've had a lot of community meetings and different organizations that have been coming in and utilizing the spaces. But our faculty and staff have now kind of taken hold and they are running away with it. And so it's been good.
Good, good. What an impressive building.
If you guys ever want to host a meeting there, Zach, if CANA wants to come and do something in the training center, et cetera, we've got certainly some rooms that are large enough to hold the full membership. We could certainly do that.
Oh, great, great. That's great. Good. Dan, hey, Dan.
Hello.
How are you, Dan?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing, Zach?
Oh, pretty good, good. Got Shanice Kent. Hi, Shanice.
Let me see. Wait a minute. I got video. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Shanice. Thanks for coming tonight.
Oh, thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Hey, Shanice.
There's Michelle.
Hi.
Michelle. How are you?
Oh, good.
Good to see you.
I got Stefan at my house this week.
Oh, good.
Yes. So far,
How's
so
it
good.
going?
So
So far,
far,
so
so
good?
good. Yep.
Good.
Yep. We'll see.
Good.
Oh, this is awesome.
Give it a couple more minutes, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. Yeah, Officer Johnson, how are you, sir?
Good, Zach. How are you? Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
That's good. How are you, how's things going?
Not too bad.
And interesting.
Okay, yes. Officer Sal, good to see you, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, Sergeant Britt, thank you, sir, for coming.
Hello, good evening.
There's Maura. Hey, Maura.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody?
We're doing pretty good.
We're great.
Okay.
We're getting ready for a snow/rainstorm, huh?
When's that?
I don't know, tonight? Am I right or am I spreading rumors here? I don't know, maybe.
I think it's supposed to be mostly rain.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rain tonight and storm Friday.
Okay.
No storm on Friday?
Yeah, I hadn't looked at the weather, so I had no clue.
Zach, is your kitchen done?
Tomorrow's the day.
Is tomorrow the official done day?
Tomorrow is the official done day.
Hooray.
59 days.
Wow.
5-9.
It's gonna be worth it though.
Yeah, it looks great. So I'm really happy with it. All right, it's 6:32. Why don't we get this meeting started? It's the March 1st meeting of the Council of Albany Neighborhood Associations. Thanks everybody for coming. We do have a few more folks joining us here in the Zoom room. And thank you so much for coming. We've been really busy the last few months with the reorganization of CANA into a management board, working on bylaw amendments and putting together a slate of candidates. But first, before we do that, why don't we go over to the, as always, the Albany Police Department with their public safety update with Officer Webster. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So just a few things I'm going to go over real quick. I know you got a full schedule I see there. So I'm going to start off with good news. I like good news, and I very rarely get to give any, but right now our shots fired are down. Confirmed shots fired are down 44% so far this year, and we hope that continues. Although I will say we did have that warm week there in February, and it was real busy. But other than that, that's a good sign. Also, I like to think it's me complaining at all these meetings about the stolen vehicles. To people to not leave their keys in the car. I don't know if that's the reason, but it is down 38% this year compared to last year. Stolen vehicles in the winter, which is a good sign because that's usually when they're up, when people leave their cars running unattended in parking lots and such. One other thing I wanted to bring up is this Saturday, we are tabling
basic needs if your income and financial resources are low.
Hello. Oh, somebody jumped in there. This Saturday, there's a kids expo at the State Plaza, the Empire State Plaza. We're doing Safe Child ID, and there's it's free, so people should pass that around. They don't want to miss that opportunity. Unfortunately, I think we're supposed to get a lot of snow, but hopefully that won't deter. It won't get canceled. But they have bouncy houses, movies, and things like that. Other than that, I don't really have too much. Everything else is pretty much status, same as it usually is this time of the year. Nothing crazy. We had the one shooting, that murder, and arrest was made on that. And so that's cleared. We've had a few robberies, one in the South End, and that person was hit a store in the South End, and he got picked up like literally in a half hour later. So right now it's February. I like the way the stats are going compared to last year. It's been better. So knock on wood, hopefully that continues. Anybody have any questions for me? And if not, I will like to introduce Will Pierce, who is now in the neighborhood in Pine Hills. So I give him a chance to introduce himself.
Does anybody have questions for Officer Webster? Oh, Ed Brennan, go ahead, Ed.
What you got?
Hi, thank you. Just a question there. There was some reports about changes in traffic enforcement. There was some reports in the newspaper, and I know we've talked about it here before. Is there any more thoughts about redirecting more of the force towards traffic enforcement, speeding and such?
Yeah, we did just fill a spot that was empty there in the traffic unit. I mean, it's only one spot, but right now everything is empty. So right now we're canvassing for our next group of officers to start a new academy class. I mean, unfortunately, it's going to take a while before we can get up to where we need to bodies wise. So we're canvassing right now. Hope to start another academy in May. We have 7 that'll be graduating within the next month or two. So hopefully we'll be able to fill a few more traffic spots. But I have noticed that the traffic unit has been doing a lot more traffic stops lately. They have definitely picked up their enforcement. Maybe they took some of the other things off their plate that they generally have, because they also do investigations and I mean, I don't even know what they do. They do so much stuff now. They're not even considered just traffic cops anymore. They're investigators because they do so much. But I have noticed an uptick, and so we're hoping, and I know the chief knows, and that traffic is one of our biggest complaints that we receive, the traffic issues. So it is something we're working on filling, but it's not all the way filled up just yet, but we're working on it.
I can add that as well. So we also have an officer from patrol detailed out to the traffic unit. And I think next week or the next 2 weeks, another patrol officer will be detailed to the traffic unit to kind of supplement their manpower. Additionally, they also took on the role of any animal cruelty cases too. So they investigate that as well. That's added to their plate.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps you. Yeah.
Okay. Don't see any other questions. Officer Pierce, you want to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, so my first name is William Office. I'm Officer Pierce. I've been with the department 17 years. I don't know, I don't really recognize any faces. I'm still kind of new to using Zoom and all these different things, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm looking at everything correctly, but I was in the beat in Arbor Hill for about 6 or 7 years before I went to the DO. I was there for a while in internal affairs. Then I came back to the beat because I actually missed being in the beat and I actually really enjoyed it. So I just came back maybe about a week or so ago, and I'm going to be filming in Pine Hills for the foreseeable future. I really enjoy being in the beat. So if you guys have any questions or any concerns, you can always call me or reach out to me. I'm always willing to help out any way I can. I'm always easily accessible. It's nice to meet you guys. If I haven't already met some of you, some of the faces look familiar, but I'm not too sure if you guys recognize who I am. But then again, I was in Arbor Hill for a while, like I said, as a beat officer for about 6 or 7 years. And then, like I said, the beats kind of got changed around a little bit, but I'm back in Pine Hills now. And if you have any questions from me, I'd be gladly willing to answer any question I can answer.
Well, thank you for switching to Pine Hills. It's a really great neighborhood. It has a great neighborhood association. I encourage you to make their meetings if you can.
Yes, I'm familiar with Pine Hills too. So, I'm hitting the ground running. It's not something that's gonna, be a learning curve for me. I've been in Pine Hills for a long time as well. So, I know the people there as well, and it'll be a good transition for me.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank
Great.
you. You're welcome.
Anybody have any additional questions for Albany Police Department? Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much, Officer Webster, Officer Pierce, everybody.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up on the agenda is the bylaw amendments. I know at our last meeting, we went through them pretty in detail. We sent them out again on the listserv. There was one additional amendment that was actually suggested by the president of Pine Hills, John Clarkson. Basically, let me just pull up my screen real quick. Everybody see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, it was just he had suggested a further amendment. This was actually not anything to do with the amendments that were proposed previously. This was just a necessary update to the existing CANA bylaw language as far as memberships, specifying that to qualify as membership to CANA, a neighborhood association will must meet the following criteria. And criteria number 4 is just have officers elected by the membership. And then the amendment would be or by a board elected by the membership. And this had to do mainly with Pine Hills and the language, I think, in their bylaws, so it just made it a little cleaner and consistent and didn't cause any issues with neighborhood associations as far as membership in CANA to make that amendment. So did anybody have any extra questions or comments on the bylaws amendments? I think everybody's okay with them? Okay. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, I just would ask if we could get a motion to adopt the amended bylaws for CANA for 2023.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
So,
it.
Motion made by Dan Van Riper. Who seconded, Maura?
Yeah.
Okay, seconded by Maura McNulty. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of amending the bylaws? Say aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Okay, great. The bylaws are officially amended and that's great. I will mark them as amended on March 1st, 2023, and we'll put them up on the website for everybody to see. All right. Great.
Zach, that was a long haul.
What's that?
Congratulations, that was a long haul.
Oh, the amendments?
Yes.
I'm used to it. All good. Great. So next on the agenda, and I'll actually turn this over to Maura. She can talk a little bit about this year's election of a slate of candidates for CANA. Thanks,
Okay.
Maura.
So as just as a sort of a thumbnail update, as you know, Zach has heroically served as CANA president, and it started to feel like it made more sense to maybe shift to a model that's sort of a board model where there are approximately 10 people, and those people really divide up the responsibilities involved in keeping CANA going. And so we had a meeting, and then we had another meeting, and Zach had put together an extensive spreadsheet sort of defining what all those responsibilities are. And we're just going through and, divvying up those responsibilities. And so so from this point forward, we're going to experiment with an executive board model. It's been very successful with the Melrose Neighborhood Association, perhaps among others. So we're optimistic that that will end up working well. Zach, does anybody else? I know there were other people on those meetings. Is there anybody else who wants to add anything to that?
Yep. So Buckingham Lake has a management board as well now. It's been very successful. I know Michelle over in Beverwick, she has suggested this similar idea to her neighborhood association. And I think, going forward, we may see other, neighborhood associations shift to more of a management board model. So I think it's going to be successful, and I'm very optimistic about, the future of CANA with this change. So Maura, are you ready to read our slate of candidates for 2023, 2024?
Yes. Do you have a slide of those names?
I do.
Excellent.
Okay, you ready, Maura?
I'm all ready.
Okay, it's our slate of candidates for the CANA Management Board of 2023 and 2024.
And so those would be Arlene Way, Michelle Strontinsky, Rob Morton, Riley Ackley, I apologize if I'm slaughtering your names, Maura McNulty. Dan Van Riper, Zach Simpson, Tabora Marcus, and John O'Grady. And I'd like to ask for a motion to adopt this slate of candidates.
Second.
Excellent. And then should we can have a vote? All in favor say any discussion? Objections, concerns? We ready to say ready to vote on this? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Sounds like the ayes have it.
Okay.
And there we go.
All right. We have a new management board for 2023, 2024. Thanks, everybody.
Yay.
Great, great. And to the new management board members, I'll be in touch with our next meeting at the management board level to do an update on where we're at with the responsibilities and next meeting. Okay. So thank you. Thanks, everybody. Exciting. All right. All right. So next, we do have an invited speaker tonight. It's Shanice Kent. She's Assistant Dean of Graduate Education at University at Albany. She is here to present on opportunities available to adult learners in the community.
Thank you.
Shanice, thank you for coming.
I do have some slides. Can I share my screen?
Yes, I think you're all set now.
Thank you. Okay, everybody can see the correct screen?
Yep, looks good. It looks good for us.
Perfect. So thank you so much for having me. My name is Shanice Kent. I'm here to talk to you about our new federally funded TRIO program called the Educational Opportunity Centers that is now at UAlbany, not to be confused with the SUNY EOC program, which it's the same. I know it's the same name. I have to follow the federal name for it. So it's caused some concern and questions, but this is a separate grant. I am the project director for it among my other duties. I'm one of the assistant deans in the graduate school and the director of our new Office of Professional Adult and Continuing Knowledge. That new office it's newish, a little over a year old now, is the University at Albany's renewed investment in the adult learner space. So we have, for years, we had an Office of Professional Studies. It was disbanded, I think, over a decade ago before my time here. And so we have various schools and colleges that do a number of things in kind of the adult learner space, but we did not have a centralized office. So the PAC office is really here to serve as a centralized office for that adult learning space and a point of contact. And then we refer people out to the appropriate places. So it's myself right now and my associate director who has been doing a lot of the legwork to get this grant up and running. We are hiring a full-time position for this grant as well. The search is currently underway for an assistant project director who will run the day-to-day operations. On the slides, we are actively recruiting. So if you know anyone who might be interested, we have this, and I will share these slides with everybody on the call as well. And then we will be hiring a full-time administrative assistant after we have this role in place. So what are the TRIO programs? The University at Albany previously, over 7 years ago, had a number of TRIO programs. Many people are often familiar with Upward Bound or Talent Search. Those are at the middle school and high school level. There's student support services that are at the college level. And then the Educational Opportunity Centers are for adult learners, right, who want to enroll or re-enroll in a college. So our EOC program is part of what was originally 3 programs funded by the U.S. Department of Education. It is now expanded to the longer list that you see here on the slide, specifically aimed to assist those who are first generation to college, income eligible, and this is based on federal low income data, and or have other needs. So it varies on the actual program of what those other needs may be, but 2/3 of our population do have to be both first generation to college and income eligible. So we will provide college admissions information and financial literacy to those qualified adults who want to start or continue their college studies. So that is not just about recruiting to UAlbany. This is not what the EOC program will do, although it is housed at UAlbany. It's about identifying, assisting adults in the capital region, so Albany, Rensselaer, and Schenectady counties, who want to engage in higher education and might need assistance in doing that. And we will help them to enroll in any school or college, including the community colleges, our private institutions. So one of the things we are trying to get out there is that it's not just about recruiting to UAlbany. A very small fraction of these adult learners who we serve in the community will be ready or an appropriate fit for UAlbany for various reasons, right? And we can serve these adult learners starting from those who have not completed a high school equivalency, all the way to those who have some college but haven't finished the bachelor's. So our EOC participants can be interested in a 2-year or 4-year undergraduate program. Our ultimate goal is, of course, the bachelor's degree, and that's mandated by the federal government. Here's some our eligibility requirements. We're looking at adults who are at least 19 years old. They do have to be U.S. citizens or permanent resident status, and that documentation is required. They have to be a resident of the 3 counties that we're funded to serve and have a desire to enroll or re-enroll in a bachelor's degree program. They also must meet financial need based on federal income guidelines, first generation to college, which means, so 2/3 of our population have to be both financially eligible and a first generation, which means neither of their parents or guardians had a college degree. And then we can also serve veterans of any age. And we do have some capability to serve down below the 19 years of age based on the fact that we don't have a similar TRIO programs currently in the area. Other than Schenectady Community College has a student support services, which we've already connected with them and will be working with them to make sure we're not duplicating services to these participants. So like I mentioned already, 2/3 have to be both first gen and low income. And then we have other objectives they're provided and outlined by the federal funding. This includes for those participants who need to complete a secondary diploma, we have to have a certain percentage to complete that diploma within a grant cycle year of joining our program and providing them services. We need to assist them with financial aid applications, assist them with post-secondary education admissions, and then enrollment. So we have specific percentages that we have to meet each year for that population that we're serving. And some students may be with us just for a funding cycle, which is one year. Some may be with us for a couple of years. It really depends on their needs as they come in, and we assess those needs once they apply and are accepted, and what services they need. Some may be ready or have already been thinking about this and might be very close to enrolling or re-enrolling in college, and some may need to complete a GED before they can think about enrolling in college. So some of the services we'll provide are online and in-person information sessions and presentations about colleges, the application process, financial options, and basic financial literacy. That's a requirement of the grant. So individualized and personal career and academic counseling, assistance with completing college applications, completing the required financial aid applications, career counseling and workshops, academic advice and college selection assistance. And then not everything we'll do in-house. a lot of the success of this program is going to depend on our community partners. So we will serve as a hub and be referring some of our participants out to other agencies. So we're starting that process now. We actually started the process in 2021 when we originally wrote this grant. So have already secured some community partnerships and frankly, at the time, we weren't funded when we originally wrote for it. We were funded a year after the original cycle. When the feds put more money into this particular program, they reached out to us. We were just under the funding ban the first round. So they reached out to us and said, hey, we have more dollars. Would you like this program now? So of course we said yes, because I always say yes to being able to serve our community better. So we'll provide, again, education and counseling to improve financial and economic literacy. That will be in partnership with our community partners, GED support, guidance on preparing for entry exams if necessary, tutorial services, mentorship from faculty, students, staff, other appropriate mentors to help those students. And then we have services designed specifically for those who may have limited English proficiency. If you guys have questions at any time, please ask. I know this is a lot. Let's see. And how can you help? Based on our data, when we wrote this grant back and we were looking at 2019, 2020 data, there's approximately 70,000 adults in the capital region who are potentially eligible for EOC. And we're looking for 850 adults, and we're tasked with trying to meet that enrollment number by technically the end of August, but we've given ourselves an August 1st deadline. I think we have about 50 right now. We have a number of applications in process. We started the active recruitment about a month ago, so we're where we should be at this point. But we're looking and we're coming and doing meetings and presentations like this so that we can identify participants and get them enrolled and start helping them on their path to those next steps. And you can help us by helping with our public information campaign. I will follow up, and I know Luke has some material already from my colleague, Heather Murphy. We can provide some materials that can be shared. Have some advertising. We have a public, we have some funds within our budget specifically do a public information campaign, but we need community partners to really get the word out for us as well. We do have some social media pages with very small following right now. It's Heather and I doing this. So I'm going to be hiring a grad assistant soon to help us build the social media pages. So follow us if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We're at UAlbany Trio EOC. We do have a web page with lots of material that I can provide those links to as well. And then tell us about any community services that you think that we should know about that we may not know about. I'm relatively new. I started at UAlbany, new to the area in 2017. I bought my house. I'm actually in the Buckingham Link neighborhood on the border of Pine Hills. So we purchased our house in 2018. So I live right here between the two, the uptown and the downtown campus. My husband was a school teacher for a year at Harriet Myers. He's now at Cobleskill Middle School. Our kids, one of our youngest goes to RPI, our oldest is at Hudson Valley. So we are active in the community. But so being newer to the area, we're still building out kind of our partnerships. And so there may be things that we have missed, Heather and I, as we are moving this grant forward. And then we can be reached. We have our emails. Heather keeps me in line. We'll put it that way. She's amazing. But you can reach either of us on our direct emails or the general EOC box at eoc@albany.edu. We both pick up those that email box. And once our new assistant project director is hired, that person will have access to that box as well. And we're using that as our kind of for continuity purposes. And do you guys have any questions for me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
This would be a perfect fit for the Capital South campus down in here in the South End. I know you Albany, when the thing was started, was going to be part of the Capital South campus, but this sounds exactly like what is needed here in our neighborhood.
So it's funny that you brought that up, Dan. We actually had a conversation yesterday with the South End Community Collaborative with Tom and his group. And that was also brought up. And so it's nice to hear that there may be some individuals that would be able to benefit from it in the South End. And obviously that was our purpose for coming to not only tonight's meeting, but to kind of make the rounds and say, listen, this is a program where we're trying to meet adults where they're at, right? And if there's a person out there that is seeking to, go to college in any format, right? A 2-year micro-credential program, whatever, we're hoping that we can then intake that individual and assist them with information related to the application process, financial aid, all of that stuff. And so our hope is to have a presence throughout the entire community, right? Capital region wide. We really want this program to be known, and certainly in the South End.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people who could use the basic instruction that you guys, that this program would put out. Because that, of course, has always been the problem. I'm sure you're aware of is people want to get a higher education, but there's so many impediments. Some of them are their own impediments, and others are just the usual, traveling and money and stuff like that. So this would meet their needs. So yeah.
And I personally was a first generation low income college student. I had 2 children in college, so I understand the audience. This is part of the reason why I wrote for this grant, because I lived that experience going through my education and navigating that. I went through at a time where it was a little cheaper than what even SUNY is today, right? But I deeply understand the concerns and the constraints that adult learners who are eligible for EOC are facing throughout their educational pathways and careers. So this is definitely a near and dear to my heart, and I'm looking forward to really helping our greater community with this.
Shanice, this is a very nice program. I wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
I was a U Albany professor for 26 years, taught in biology, and taught a lot of courses at all different ages, all kinds of folks. I was also the oldest of 9 children and a first generation bachelor's degree myself. But my question is tutoring. How does that figure into your program? Because, U Albany has a very active emeritus center with a lot of retired professors who are, like me, not quite on their last legs. And I think a lot of us would be very interested in helping.
I have hit up the Emeritus Center for other things, so I am more than happy to reach out for this. So we built in some funding for grad students and undergrad student tutors. We don't have funding for, professional tutors, but we're always, of course, we'd be open to volunteers as well.
Well, volunteer is what I had in mind.
Yeah,
I don't want to take money away from graduate students.
Yeah, so no, we certainly will. We don't have our cohort yet, right? So all of our tutoring will be based on what the needs are of our cohort once we have them. The 40 some that we've admitted so far vary. We have a few that need the GED, so we're working with BOCES with that. We just met with, we were down at the Capitol South Campus yesterday meeting with Michael to start referring them out. We have some who are already enrolled, so we can serve those who are already enrolled in college but need the assistance with financial aid applications, that sort of thing. So we have some of those. So I'm thinking closer to around the summertime we'll have a better understanding of in the fuller cohort to really start identifying tutoring in any other. But yes, I wrote that down, so I will certainly reach out to the Emeritus Center.
Great.
I will tell you, we just got an REU in RNA, so I'm one of the I'm a co-PI on that. So I write a lot of grants. So I'm excited that it's the first REU that UAlbany has housed in a while,
Oh, yeah.
outside of the Wadsworth Center.
That's great.
Wow. Pat Maxon has a question, I think.
Sorry, pushing all the buttons. Do you have an upper age limit on this program?
We do not have an upper age limit, no.
Thanks.
So any age. In our Office of Professional Adult and Continuing Knowledge, we do also, it's in that grad school because that happens to be where I'm housed, but our general studies and summer sessions, general studies is the undergrad non-matriculated office. That also reports up to me through PAC. I have this weird collection, but it actually does make sense because we're building out our adult learner space. Many adult learners would be coming through that non-degree option. And then, at the graduate level, all of our grad students are considered adult learners based on once you finish that bachelor's. So we do have some services and staff at the non-matric level who can assist as well. And then those who are looking for admissions, either as freshmen or transfer to UAlbany, we have a point of contact in undergrad admissions that we've identified specifically for that adult learner. So on our campus, we are identifying specific points of contact who have kind of the background of working with an adult learner versus, say, the 18 to 22-year-old, which is typically our bread and butter at UAlbany, right?
Thank you very much. Who's your oldest participant?
So not in our new grant, not in EOC, but in our general studies, we have a 78-year-old.
Thank you very much.
Right now. Yeah.
Thanks.
Wow. That's great. Never stop learning, right? That's awesome. Maura, you got your hand up?
Yes, so thanks. This was super interesting. I know that you put the contact information in the slide and that I'm sure you're going to be sharing that slide. But in the meantime, do you think I could just ask you to drop your contact email and the website into the chat?
Yep, I'll do that right now.
I think I got the perfect person for you.
Send anybody and everybody.
Yeah, more. I think we also have a one-pager, and Zach, I can send that to you after the meeting that we can kick out to the group. And certainly, if the neighborhood associations,
this?
Yep.
Okay, I think I did send it out on the listserv. Maura, did you get it?
I'm sure I did.
Probably.
I will forward it on. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say if any of you would like to distribute it via your listservs far and wide, we are just hoping to get the word out so as many people know as possible.
Great. Any other questions for Shanice? Well, thank you, Shanice, very much for informing us about the program. It's great.
Thank you.
Luke, did you have any additional UAlbany updates for us tonight?
Nothing crazy. Right now, we are getting ready to head into spring break. So March 11th through the 19th starts next weekend. Our students are going to be out of town for the most part. Some dates to just kind of keep in mind. April 22nd. If any of you like to walk, or if you know of anybody who likes to walk, we have our Out of the Darkness Walk. It's an annual walk that we co-sponsor with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's all about raising money for positive mental health and bringing awareness to suicide prevention. And so we can send out a flyer, Zach, and we certainly encourage community members to register, to form teams, to come. We actually had a neighborhood association from the city of Albany participate in last year's walk. The Albany Police Department had a team. The City of Albany School District had a team. And thankfully, I will say that the University of Albany was the second highest fundraising organization in the Northeast as a result of our community support. And so we really appreciate that. And all the money goes to a great cause with American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And we'd be happy to have as many people participate as possible. The very next day, we're going to be doing the biannual Midtown cleanup. So we'll be down in Beverwyck and Pine Hills with the students and our Greek community, our fraternities and sororities, and they will be working with the Department of General Services on picking up the community. And then April 27th, we're venturing into a new experience here at the university. We're actually going to be encouraging our professors not to hold class on April 27th and have all of our students show up to view all of the different types of research that we do at UAlbany from an undergraduate, graduate, doctoral level. Everything from cancer cell lines and rare diseases like myotonic dystrophy to human trafficking, research on AI, really across the academic spectrum. And so, as you can imagine, it's a lot of research. We're going to have over 1,500 different presenters. It's going to take up the entire campus. We'll be in the podium, on our academic buildings, in the campus center, over at eTech, downtown campus. We're going to be all over the place. And the best part is it's open to the community. So if any of you are interested in seeing all the different types of research that are happening at the university, April 27th, mark the day. It's going to be an all-day event. I will follow up with additional details next month, so you have some good information on that moving forward. But we're inviting the mayor, the county exec, the whole swath, as well as some elementary schools, high schools, middle schools. It's going to be a big day for us. And then the last thing that I'll just put out there is our next Committee on University and Community Relations, which is a monthly meeting that will be happening next Thursday at 7 o'clock via Zoom. If anybody would like an invite, let me know. I can pass along the information. We'll have the executive director of the Albany Public Library, Andrea Nicolay, will be our featured presenter for that.
Luke, I put the showcase link in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
I happen to be on that committee. I'm just a bad committee member.
Excellent. Any questions, threats, concerns, bribes?
Luke, how are things going with the Purple Pantry over at UAlbany? Is it still?
Yeah, it's going well. Our numbers, unfortunately, are up, right? I mean, that's never a good thing in the sense that we're looking at food insecurity being on the rise. Some of you may be aware that, at the federal level, unfortunately, there are some SNAP benefits that are going to be expiring very soon. So we're likely going to see, that impact the greater community. Not probably so much of an impact on campus, only because most of our students are not SNAP eligible. Those that are, we try to make sure that they have as many resources as possible. But I will say, as it comes to the pantry, our staff, our faculty, our community members, our alums are amazing. And we never have a shortfall. So if you are interested in donating to the pantry, we'd be more than happy to receive those donations. But at the same time, please know that we make sure that we're taking care of our students at UAlbany. And so, yes, the pantry is fully stocked, but the need is high.
Any questions for Luke? All right. Thank you very much, Luke, and thank you very much, Shanice. Appreciate it. All right. So committee reports, John O'Grady, did you want to give a quick codes committee update?
There was a lot of very helpful information at the last meeting about 2 weeks ago. And I think what I'd like to do is just send that to the group. I don't have the email lists. Maura, do you have it?
The email list of the executive board?
The whole circulation list. The circulation.
I have that, John. I can send it to you.
All right, so I'll send it. The two things to highlight are that we're trying to get together with other organizations, especially South End Community Campus, to petition or whatever it is we need to do to get more judges in the vacant building court. Codes is sending over about 100 cases. It's either a week or a month, and Corporation Counsel in the city gets to about half of them, sends them over, and the court does about 10 or something like that. They're backed up about 8 months, and that's why very little is getting done right now with code violations. So that's going to be part of that, the notes that I'll send. And the other one is the placard that landlords and property owners are now required to put in the building so that people can see who the contact people are and emergency contacts, and a little notice about United Tenants and their rights. I'll get that out to you guys.
Sounds great. All right. Great. Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it. All right. All right. So we will be sending out pretty soon membership applications to neighborhood associations for 2023. Now that we have our new management board, we'll get the treasurers all situated, and we'll be sending out that application to neighborhood associations to pay their 2023 dues. Just had to do a little delay this year because of all the changes that we were making, but we're gonna, hit play and try to get as many dues as we can this year. All right. Is there any new business in anybody's respective neighborhoods to bring up, or any other things to bring up tonight of interest? Yep, Esther.
I have something. So I received an email to our neighborhood email from our council person about potential for people to give input about speed humps in our neighborhood. Has anybody else heard anything about that, or is that a new initiative on the part of the city that anybody's heard about? Like it seemed like the city has just kind of chosen places itself up till now. So anyway,
looks like Ed and Vince have input on that.
Yeah, so they had a couple of trial locations that they did last year, and apparently they've got I think it's like $1 million that they can expend on speed humps in different locations. And what they did is they sent around, you should have gotten 2 graphics. One graphic would be the sort of like a chart, a flow chart that shows the decision making on how they would approve a new location for a speed hump. So they're looking for suggestions from the public, from citizens like you or me or whoever, to say where we think speed humps should be. And they want those to go to your council person. That's sort of the way these are going to get fed in. But then the second graphic was done up probably by our traffic department, and it shows preferred locations. And they've got a red streets, they've got yellow streets and green streets. The red streets are locations or streets that are not preferred. I think mostly those are ones that have like CDTA bus routes, because I guess there's a problem with the CDTA buses that they don't want them to go over speed humps. And there's a difference between one of the key things to know is that speed hump is not the same as a speed bump. A speed hump is lower and could do less damage to a vehicle, but it's still designed to slow down the motor vehicles that are speeding in the neighborhoods. And so the yellow locations are places they'll consider it. And then the green locations, those are what they consider prime locations, but they're looking for feedback from people. And I guess it's not 100% decided, what they'll approve. I guess they'll consider it when they see what kind of responses people get. And one thing that did confuse me was they said they wanted them in by budget time, by the time the budget's approved. But I think the budgets aren't approved for the city until like October, November or something like that, or has fairly recently been approved. So if they're going to be putting these things out in the next year, are they not deciding until late fall, winter, when they can't put them out? So I'm not sure. The timing is a little confusing to me, but that's what I know about it so far.
Vince, I think Vince had his hand up there.
In the Eagle Hill section, Ed got a lot more information than I did. I did get a package that I read through, and it didn't have any maps or anything. And what for Eagle Hill, as I read the information I received, hardly any of my roads up here are eligible for speed humps, for the simple reason is they're too small. There's a criteria. You just don't put a speed hump in. The road has to be measured a certain size, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as far as Eagle Hill, That's all we got on that. So I said, I don't believe Eagle Hill, our roads are big enough to put a speed hump. Although if you see some of the traffic that we get coming off of 85, speeding down these roads, we should be entitled to something. The speeding is just terrible. They come off of 85 and 90% of them are lost, and they think they're still on 85 if they go down our streets. And again, as I said numerous times, my street is not wide enough. So that's all I can tell you. Ed got a lot more information than I did.
We did put those maps, or at least links to where you can see those maps, up on the website that I just put in chat. It's www.vision0518.org/Albany County. That's a new organization that's being formed by a bunch of different organizations looking at different, trying to reduce traffic violence in the region. But we put the information that we got at least up on that site, so you can at least see the maps and the chart that that I've seen.
Thanks, Ed.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Vince, what do you mean by the streets are too small, that they're not wide enough? Or
they're not wide enough. Yeah. There's certain criteria that, Dan, that say you either get a speed bump or not a speed bump. And like I told before, I did not see the maps, so I don't know what the maps look like for the 15th Ward. And I would personally, as I sit here telling you what I read, I can't believe that the 15th Ward is even on the maps. I could be wrong.
Esther, could you forward me the email that you had gotten?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Maura's got her hand up, and then we'll go over to Helen. Maura.
This is really, I don't even know if this makes sense, but is there anybody else? My first thought when I read about those humps was, is it going to be actually make those roads more attractive for dirt bikers? Because I just had this vision of those guys barreling along thinking, oh, it's a good size road, and probably more than one lane, and now they've got a way to catch air on them. So I don't know whether that's a factor or not, but I know that in another month we're all going to be groaning about, the dirt bike situation is an annual nightmare. So I don't know. I'm not saying I'm opposed to the humps or anything, but I'm just pointing that out and wondering if anybody else, if that thought has occurred to anybody else.
I'm not a dirt bike user, but I don't think that they're gonna, you really need a ramp as opposed to a hump in order to do what you like to do. And to stop those ATVs from going down a 2-block long street without a stop sign, I'll take a hump.
They have 4 of those speed bumps on Mount Hope Drive, which is a very steep hill, you might know. And I got to tell you, you got to slow down to go over those things. If you came down there with a dirt bike or a motorcycle and you hit that full speed, you'd be flying. There is no question about it.
That's very reassuring. Not that I want anybody to get hurt, but I don't want them to become an actual attraction for them. All right, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Helen. Go ahead.
Yeah, we shared a thumbs up. So what I was going to say, I think the issue as far as the length of the street is theoretically a short street. You're not going to be able to get any speed going. We have bumps on Second, I think it's Second, which is along Swinburne and Bleecker. It is a one-way street. I think it's made a huge difference because it's a long stretch without any kind of stop sign or intersection, and I think that's the kind of street where you need the bumps to kind of make people slow down.
Yeah, and as far as I know, in the Mount Hope neighborhood, it's been very successful with mitigating the speed issue that they've been having there. So
my question was, does anyone know how they solved the problem? We used to get told all the time, you can't do humps or bumps because of the plows.
Yeah.
So how did they solve that this year somehow? Anybody know? I don't know.
Well, they're not speed bumps, they're like elongated, right?
Yeah, I think they're-
Yeah,
They're lower than the speed bumps, and they use them in like Village of Colony, like right next door. They've had them there for years.
yeah.
So it was always very confusing to us as why they couldn't do a speed hump.
Yeah.
But now they've had them there to test for in a couple of locations. So I guess they figured it out.
I guess so.
Vince, did you have something?
Yes, Nora, getting back to the four-wheelers and motorcycles, tell you the truth, as I read the information, I never once gave the motorcycles and the four-wheelers a thought. I can't, when you brought it up, that was an excellent thing that you did. And again, we have motorcycles. Again, when the nice weather comes, we have four-wheelers going around, obviously with no plates in that. I don't know what'll happen if they hit it, but I can almost think it's not going to be good. And getting back to how the plows go over those speed humps, I'll tell you, if you're here and you see a plow go down my street, that plow is going 50 miles an hour. I can't imagine what'll happen if he hits it. So again, I guess but again, you hear about Mount Hope, that was a success, and a few other places that was success. I guess for myself personally, I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens in the 15th ward if we get them. I don't think the information says we're not big enough to get it. And I'll go to the website that Ed put up there take a look at and see if we're eligible for any. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
They plow Mount Hope Drive, so, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
a PDF.
everybody.
The map is a PDF. If you download it, you really have to hit the little plus sign and blow it up so you can see what streets are what, because otherwise it looks like really, really small and hard to see what streets it's talking about, but you can work with it.
Great. All right. Thanks for the input on the speed humps, not bumps. Yeah. All right. So future meeting dates. I just wanted to point out that the first Wednesday in April is the 5th, but that's the first day of Passover. So when I met with the now elected management board, we talked about it and we felt that shifting it to the Tuesdays is better than having it that Wednesday. So hope that's okay with everybody's schedules. And then the May meeting will be May 3rd, and then will be June the 7th, and then we'll break for the summer. Okay, so and we'll be in touch with future speakers when they're arranged. And then I think I saw a hand up from Maura.
I had a question.
Zach, where do we send our dues?
Yep. So we're going to be updating the membership application. It'll have the address on that where you direct your check.
Oh, so we're all going to get a membership application?
Yep. We'll be sending out an email with the membership.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Sure. We got Maura and Pat. Maura?
I think Pat, were you ahead of me? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, I'm really trying to catch up. Did I miss a meeting, or are we still talking with the South End Collaborative about the downtown educational institutions?
I think at the last meeting, somebody was going to reach out to them, and I don't know if that happened. So
Okay.
That was me. I reached out to them, and basically, I talked to Tom McFeeters, and he basically said, we don't know what's going on. And I talked to, I had a little communication with Ms. Morton down at South End, and they don't know what's going on. So she did dig up this document that was scraped off of the Albany Housing Authority website. They went back to 2013. And they didn't talk about any of the plans for the for any of the property underneath the towers. But I know I was not dreaming, because a number of other people remembered this also, that they did talk about restoring streets and putting housing in that territory. So and when they talked about expanding the college there, they just talked about some of the land going to the college. But that there doesn't seem to be anything official on any of the sites now. So I think it was Tom McFaders had the idea that the city has kind of their priorities have changed, and that's basically what's going on here. And we're not really getting to hear the whole story. So I guess we're going to have to just lean on them for some more information.
So they've changed since the article where it had to be done yesterday? Because the day we were talking about it was kind of like it appeared in the press and it had to be happening very, very fast. So that's changed, it sounds like?
Well, I don't know. I know there's been some pushback from the community, and they were hearing it from some folks down here, especially at the South End Collaborative meetings. So it sounds like they're reassessing things, but again, we don't know what the city's up to. Maybe we could, I don't know, maybe it would be worthwhile to get somebody from the city to come in, and so we can hold their feet to the fire and find out what's going on. That might be the best thing. But I specifically asked if they had anybody they could recommend who could explain, and there's nobody who really could explain what's going on, because no one really knows. So that's the best I could do.
Okay.
Well, I thank you, Dan, for the question, because I started thinking maybe I missed a meeting somewhere. But I would request our new esteemed board, if you could keep that as a question mark on our docket, I'd appreciate it. I think that's important. Thanks.
Maura had her hand up there.
I was just going to say, for those of us on the managing board, I think we had spoken about having a little meeting, for the month of March, in between now and our April meeting. And so I'm wondering if people could stay on for literally 30 seconds, just so I can get a window, like a band of dates to send out a when to meet for.
That would be good. I think we're missing just a couple of members tonight, but we can follow up with them on email too.
Right. If I just need a band to send, so I know.
Sure. Sounds good. All right. If there's not anything else, I guess we will adjourn the meeting until April.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
All right. Is this the after show?
Yes.
Yeah, if people could just ballpark